Today, I'm reading Ripples number 822, The Power to Choose. Two quotes in a ponder. The pebble is attributed to Viktor Frankl frequently. It was actually a quote that from a book that Stephen Covey had written, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, where he makes reference to seeing this in a book. We've never been able to track down actually where the original source came from. It was shared by Loretta in Cincinnati. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. The boulder is from Eleanor Roosevelt, shared by Pete in Sedona, Arizona. One's philosophy is not best expressed in words. It is expressed in the choices one makes. And the choices we make are ultimately our responsibility. Now, ponder the part I write. I look forward to watching the Oscars every year. I love watching movies. I crave the spectacle of the gala. And I'm curious to observe the host tackling the unique challenge of managing the tension and egos of the attendees in the theater while simultaneously entertaining the audience and keeping the producers from pulling their hair out. Well, last night at 7:58 p.m., my cable and internet service went out. I didn't know how long it would be out, but I guessed correctly, it turns out, that I would miss at least the first part of the show, which sets the mood and the tone. Oh, I was crushed for about 25 seconds. And then I remembered the Viktor Frankl quote on the opposite page. And I remembered that I didn't get to choose whether the Academy Awards were going to blip back to life. I didn't get to choose whether the cable company would treat this as the red alarm, DEFCON 1 lives hanging in the balance emergency that it initially seemed like to me. The choice I did have was how to respond. I took a deep breath and remembered that my lights were still on. Many of my neighbors had no power. I recognized that while my plans were halted, I was still comfortably warm in my cozy home, and I had just about everything else I needed: food, clothes, shelter, friends, job, etc. I took another deep breath, smiled, shared the bummer news with my Facebook buddies, and then crawled into bed with my Kindle and my dog Grendel. It wasn't the evening I had planned, but it wasn't bad at all. I woke up this morning and realized that my world wasn't ruined, and I also had more choices to make. My first thought was to go online and watch excerpts and find out who won. But then I realized that the issue of ripples that was all queued up to go out in just a few moments would need to wait until next week so I could share my adventure and choices. This ponder is longer than usual because it's just a few minutes before 7, and I didn't have time to edit this if I was going to make my usual 7 a.m. sending. Sorry if it's a few minutes late, I wrote. I'll quickly wrap this up and hope that you can be more aware of the choices you have about how to respond to the challenges you face today. Peace, Paul. Thanks for joining me as I read from Ripples for Reflection, weekly inspiration for unleashing your best self. If you'd like to read along with me, you can get a copy at theripplesbook.com. I'd also like to thank Jenny, Mark, Maria, and all of my Patreon peeps for supporting this project. See you next time.